Welcome to Morfanime. I'm your fan of more anime, and today I'm going to be discussing One Piece film Gold. I just got finishing watching it for the second time in preparation for this review, and I gotta say, the second viewing was even more enjoyable than the first. And I'm glad I watched it twice, because I missed a shiz ton of little things and small, minute details that make the movie even better than it was already. At one point, I was like, okay, about a 7 out of 10. But after watching it a second time, it's a solid 8. It's a solid 8 out of 10. Before I get into spoiler territory, before I get into the fine details of this film, I'd like to ask you guys, if you haven't seen One Piece Film Gold, please turn this video off. Go find a way to watch it. It's not that expensive. I think you can get the DVD for like $15 on Amazon or some shiz. I bet a lot of you guys know how to download illegally. I don't care. It's all you. That's your problem. I bought it and I love it. I'm so happy it's in my collection. This is Morfanime, and if you want to support the channel, go down in the description below. There'll be a link to the Morphanimaniacs t-shirt. You can become a Morphanimaniac yourself by subscribing to the page. You don't have to, but it does help me out oh so much. Now, without further ado, let's get into this amazing One Piece film. I'm not even sure where to rank it. I've watched 3 One Piece films so far. Strong World, which I absolutely adore. One Piece Film Z, absolutely fantastic. And then One Piece Film Gold, which I feel like is on the same level as these other two. It has a different aspect, but it's like the perfect movie theater movie. I feel like One Piece Film Gold, out of all the 3 movies I just talked about, would be so much fun in theaters surrounded by One Piece fans. And honestly, even if you aren't a One Piece fan and you just, like, your boyfriend or your girlfriend is a One Piece fan and you sat down with them to watch it with them because you love them, you will have a good time watching this. And they do a really good job of explaining who the characters are at the very beginning of the movie. Really, this is Straw Hats Go to Las Vegas. It also has shades of Ocean's 11, like a very heisty movie, which I am a big fan of, so that helped as well. This movie also gave my boy Frankie a lot of screen time. Oh yeah, bow bow, chicka chicka. You know, Frankie gets to kind of take Zoro's spotlight a little bit, because this movie kind of benches Zoro for a majority of the movie. And if you're a big Zoro fan, don't worry, because he gets a lot of hype moments at the very end. So you don't gotta worry, and it's kind of nice giving Frankie that spot. So, the Straw Hat Crew, if you watched One Piece Heart Gold, which you do not have to watch it to enjoy this movie, and I would have to say that One Piece Heart Gold was a little disappointing for me. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as kumsi kumsa. I might never watch it again, or if I'm bored, I'll put it on the background, but I'll never really pay attention. But Gold, woo, I enjoyed that. I'd put that back on right now. That's how much I enjoyed it, and I just watched it again this morning before I did this review. That's how good I think One Piece Film Gold is. I wish I got the opportunity to see this masterpiece. I don't know, masterpiece might be saying a little much, but this amazing movie in theaters. The villain was great. Gild Tesoro. For some reason, I kept calling him Gold Tesoro because of his ability. The villain has the ability of the gold fruit, and he can control gold. He can manipulate gold. It's a paramecia type, so he can't become gold, but he's also an awakened devil fruit user, just like our boy Doflamingo is. And I thought that was interesting as well. So I'm assuming, because Doflamingo could turn things into strings, because the entire ship is like 6 miles long, this giant Las Vegas ship thing, and most of it is gold. And I'm wondering if some of it I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if they explain it exactly, but he's an awakened devil fruit, so he can turn things that weren't originally gold into gold, which is cool, you know? He's a dastardly man. He murders civilians. He murders his own people to get his way. He doesn't give a shiz about anybody. He actually has a really good backstory. They don't even show it, a lot of it, which is fine with me because, you know, we're never going to see this guy again because I don't believe he's a canon villain, unlike Z or Zed from One Piece Film Z or Shiki from One Piece Strong World. I don't think Gild Tesoro's canon, so we'll never see him again. So I don't need a long, drawn-out backstory. This movie gives you just enough backstory and at I think the right times to get you emotionally. You kind of feel where he's coming from. So the Straw Hats show up at this casino ship that's being pulled by giant fucking turtles, sea monster turtle things. And it's like its own sovereign nation because Gild Tesoro pays off the celestial dragons. Which would be funny if he actually pays them off with fake gold because, you know, he can make things into gold since he's an awoken devil fruit user. So whenever he gets, like, taken out, it all turns back to normal. Or if it gets hit by sea prism or seawater. Who knows? I don't know. But it would be funny if he was screwing them over. So he pays off the celestial dragon so the government won't mess with him. Pretty much. Good plan, honestly. And these people come here and they bet all their money and he screws people over because once they bet too much and they owe him a lot of money and they get kind of cheated by the system, they essentially become slaves to the casino. Like most of the regular workers here, aside from the security in this ship, are forced to be there. They are covered in this gold dust that rains over them when you come into the casino ship. And at any time, because Gild Tesoro is a woken devil fruit user, he can just suffocate you with gold. At one point, someone laughs at one of his jokes and he's like, "Did I give you permission to laugh?" And he covers the dude's face with gold in a really brutal scene, killing him right in front of the rest of his men. It's pretty wild. Oh my god, I haven't even got into the Straw Hats yet. They show up. They actually end up in a quick fight just to show off their abilities, to show people who might not necessarily be big fans like myself what they can do or what they do on the ship. So, they fight the Long Pirates, which is reminiscent of the Long Ring, Long Land comedy. They have a really long ship, and all their powers revolve around being long, and I thought that was pretty funny. I loved that little bout where the Straw Hats got to show off. Usopp got to be confident, kicking ass, taking names, kicking ass. You know how it is. I mean, out of all the Straw Hats, I would say Chopper had the least amount of, like, important screen time, which is fine. It's just fine. It's just Chopper. He's cute, and he does his thing. He's cute, and that's all he needs to be, is cute. That's Chopper. That's his character. Woo! But at the beginning of the movie, Zoro's dressed up looking good. He's got this green cap on. I've never seen Zoro in a baseball cap or trucker hat looking thing, but it looked good on him. It was like green, like his bandana. He kicked some dude's ass from the Long Pirates. It was really fun, and they showed their bounties. It was this cool little like highlight, like, "Hey, I'm Zoro. I'm Sanji. I'm Luffy, the captain. Where are the Straw Hats?" We find out the crew is broke as shiz, and they're going to this casino island. Sounds like a bad mix. They show up. They're welcomed with open arms by one of Gild Tesoro's little soldier. He's got these, generals like most of the movie villains have. He's got, let me see, I took a picture of their names off of Wikipedia. This girl named Baccarat. She looks really good. She's got the ability of the luck fruit, and she actually uses it in this movie to the point where it blew my mind, and I was like, that's an awesome power. Because at first I was like, what a kind of lame ability. But then at the end, when she actually ends up in a fight and she uses her luck fruit in her bout at the end, I was just like, whoa, I didn't think about that. That's cool. That's actually pretty OP if you think about it. She shows up, tells the Straw Hats, like, hey guys, you guys are VIP guests. We know who you are. You guys got high bounties. Come on in. Come on in. They weren't even supposed to be here. I believe the invitation they stole from Mad Treasure, I believe. But they get there, they get gifted a bunch of new outfits, like really nice swagger, like casino style, beautiful outfits. Nico Robin looking good, best girl, woo! But speaking of clothing changes, this movie has to have the most egregious outfit changes. I'm assuming to sell toys. I don't know. But it's not bad because they all look great. And I'm not mad at it. But there is one point where Zoro changes his outfit. I'm like, when did he have time to do that? I swear they change their outfits a minimum of 4 times. They have their original outfits when they show up, which includes Nami and Nico Robin in bikinis. And the rest of the crew, you know, kind of chilling outfits, piratey outfits. Then they get their casino betting outfits. Later they get their heist outfits. And then they get their final battle outfits. Oh, and at one point, some of the crew wears Celestial Dragon garb. And I'm like, what is happening? I want an Usopp dressed like a Celestial Dragon in my figure collection. And I'll put it up there. I need an Usopp, actually. The crew gets gifted, like, 300 million berries to start. Like, here's your money. We're going to bet on you guys. And if you can't make it up, you can't pay us back, you'll have to work it off. Kind of sketchy, huh? But the crew actually does really good, surprisingly, winning so much. I think it was actually 20 million. And they end up winning like 30. So they're 10 above. So all they have to do is pay back the 20. But before they get into really shitty territory, Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper actually enter a wacky race. If you ever watched like the old cartoon, the Wacky Races, I believe it's a Hanna-Barbera thing. It's very similar to that. They enter this crazy race. It was actually really fun. It was probably Chopper and Usopp's decently biggest moment in this movie. Usopp's driving the car. And the cars are powered by turtles. If you're wondering how cars are powered in the piratey One Piece world, yeah, there's these little turtles. They're like, turtle. They're like little Pokemon that just say their name. And they power the cars, all jacking up, you know, jacking. The cars are going, and the cars are going fast. And a lot of them have their custom cars. They're all a bunch of random nobodies. One of them, I think, is called Beef, which reminds me of I think there's a character in Idiocracy called Beef Supreme. But his name, I believe it was Beef, or Big Beef, or something. And I was like, go Big Beef! And he had like steer horns coming out of his hat. I was just like, yeah, go Beef! But in the end, Usopp and Luffy and Chopper win the race. They have the money. They're not in the hole. They got plenty of money, but this is where the shit turns on the Straw Hat crew. The lady who invited them in, who I cannot say her name, the Luck lady, brings them to the VIP betting area where they meet another member of the main crew of villains, Dice. That's easy to say. This guy, he used to be a fighter. And they decided to hire him as basically this guy who rolls these giant dice in a very strange way where he headbutts the thing covering the dice. It breaks and you see what you get. But he's into pain. Like he's super into getting beat up. Like you gotta beat his ass. And it kind of gets him off, which is kind of weird. You have to watch the movie to get it. But he likes pain. He likes to take pain. He headbutts this thing, even though he's got a giant axe and he could hit it with the axe. He headbutts this metal casing around the dice. And Luffy's like, yeah, let's do it. Luffy actually gets the option from Gild Tesoro, who finally makes an appearance, to the Straw Hats. Also, before I get too far here, He sang a song at the beginning of the movie, which was cool, along with another girl who's kind of on his crew. Her name's Karina, who also kind of made an appearance in Heart Gold. She used to steal shit with Nami back in the Dizzy, back on the East Blue. It's this whole ordeal. So I guess that's the only kind of connecting thread between Heart Gold and Film Gold, is Karina and Nami's relationship. Gild Tesoro sings a song with Karina, which is actually pretty fun and a great way to kick off the movie. Gild Tesoro shows up and tells Luffy, hey, if you bet all your money, which at the time they had 320 million berries to bet after all their winnings. You bet it all, I'll give you 10 times the amount back. And I don't expect you to pay it all back to me. Total lie. And Luffy says, oh yeah, I've won every time tonight. Why not? Why not? They haven't lost once, which is a little suspicious. At this point, Nico Robin even is like, wait, Luffy, don't do it. Don't do it. Chick, Luck Fruit Lady, touches Luffy again for the second time. This time taking away his luck. That's right, she was tricking motherfuckers. She can touch you and take your luck, or touch you and give you luck. Yeah, she gave the whole Straw Hat crew luck. So they kept winning. So they got deceived. They end up losing like 320 million berries, and now they owe Gild Tesoro. Gild Tesoro knows they can't pay him back. What are they gonna do? Oh, guess who is kind of worth 320 million berries? Zoro. He captures Zoro because Zoro's covered in that dust. Zoro actually tries to attack Gild Tesoro. He's all trapped and he's like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your boy here, Zoro, as collateral. And if you can't pay me back within like 24 hours or 48 hours, he's going to be executed live at the casino. And I'm going to sell tickets to it and that'll cover your debt. Oh shit. Very brutal plan. Karina, who used to be an acquaintance of Nami, according to this movie, takes Nami aside and says, just shut up, I'll meet you outside. They meet her outside at a restaurant. It's actually pretty funny because Luffy's like, I'm hungry and I'm mad. And they finally get to eat, and she starts explaining everything, and she's actually there to fuck over Gild Tesoro and steal his money in the vault. This is where the heist comes in. And she's explaining all the information they need to know, and Luffy's like, don't care, got meat, I do not give a shit. That's the kind of character I am when I play D&D. Like, unless it's important to the main mission of fighting, like I just ignore most of it, and like, what can I do that's goofy? And Luffy's just eating meat, having a good time, drinking drinks. She explains everything to the rest of the crew, that they need to find the secret vault, which she has the key to, but she needs a squad. She needs them to pull it off. This is where Frankie gets a big spotlight. He gets to team up with Luffy. The rest of the crew spend like a whole afternoon making outfits for their heists and planning their plans, doing diagrams. It's actually kind of fun, little montage of them getting ready. Frankie and Luffy are Team A, and everybody else is Team B, and they're the people who are going to steal the money, and Frankie and Luffy are going to turn off the security snails, which is actually a really good plan. Frankie and Luffy lose their, Luffy's got his stretchy arms so he can scale this giant tower which controls at the top of it, there's like a giant old snail phone security snail that controls all the little security snails. It's one piece. It makes sense. If you don't know what snail phones are, why are you here listening to me right now? What's going on? So Luffy and Frankie get their way into this room. They get captured and sent to they get captured by Gild Tesoro, who can kind of sense anything that touches his gold. And they get sent to this world underneath, like the cell underneath the casino, which is all gold. I'm assuming this is where he keeps most of his gold, his real gold, but it's like sand that's made of gold, coins everywhere, giant pieces of gold everywhere, but no food, no water, just gold. And it's kind of telling, it's kind of sad when you think about it. Like a lot of the people who couldn't pay their debts are sent down there, and their families are forced to work to get them out. And they're starving, they're thirsty. One of them is actually a revolutionary who's a legendary gambler. It's pretty pretty interesting. Speaking of the revolutionaries, Sabo is here. That's right, Sabo makes an appearance, and I was pretty hyped to see Sabo actually after his appearances in Dressrosa. He's here for a little hot minute, and I like that. He's a badass in this movie. He's protecting the whole situation on the outside of the casino. I am a little disappointed that his fight isn't actually shown. It's only just a little bit, it's like a little bit implied that it happens, but they don't actually show a majority of his fight, which actually got me super hyped because it's against two canon characters who are actually important to the story, and that's against Rob Lucci. Yeah, that's right. Rob Lucci and Spandam are in this movie. Spandam actually has a little bit of a tussle with Luffy at one point in this movie. He's actually there, I believe, collecting the... I think he went there to collect the Celestial Dragon's tribute. But they're there, which is dope. Oh, Akainu's in this as well for a hot minute. He's like arguing with Lucci. You can kind of see the Marine CP0... dynamic, like, you know, they're kind of on the same level, Lucci and Akainu, I guess, because Lucci ain't backing down, and neither is Akainu, but he's like, hey, you work directly with the Celestial Dragon, so I can't really do anything to you, but one day, Rob Lucci, I might get sick of your shit, and you might take my lava fist, bitch. So... at one point in this movie, just so you know, Sabo and Lucci battled it out. But Sabo's also there to save his friend. One of his friends, who's in the Revolutionary Army, is trapped along with Luffy and a bunch of other civilians who are down in this golden area where they're like, we just want food and water. And they're begging Frankie and Luffy, who are down here, like, guys, do you have any food and water? We have all this gold. Take it. Just give me some food and water. Just showing you what's really important in life. Yes, money is nice, but you need food and water. They actually come up with a plan. They know how to get to this area underneath the cell, but there's like this giant fan and a bunch of other weird shit that's in the way. There's golden bats, I guess, that stop you from going to it. If they can make it to this area where seawater is turned into fresh water for the casino, they can use the seawater to get rid of all the gold dust that's everywhere. And Luffy's also trapped in gold. I forgot to mention. His arms are like bound together by gold created by Gild Tesoro. So if they can get some seawater, they can break it up. They end up down... They get past the golden bats, him and Frankie and these civilians and this revolutionary guy. They see this giant spinning fan, which is actually, it has to be a reference towards heist movies. There's usually like a big old fan you gotta get by. Some Mission Impossible shit. Luffy tries to jump down. Turns out this thing is made of sea prism stone. So Luffy's pretty weak against it. And even though his arm... I bet he could usually just stomp through something with a big old foot. But he couldn't do anything because anytime he touched this fan, it would weaken him. It did make me wonder why the fan didn't dissipate the gold that was on his arms if seawater would do the same thing. But it's fine. I almost was really hoping that Frankie, the beast, the man who has no devil fruit ability, was going to jump down, stop the fan by himself, and be like, go without me! Luffy, I can hold it. Just go get the sea prism. Go get the sea water. We can do this, brother. I was hoping that Frankie was going to get the ultimate spotlight there. But he doesn't. This is one of the things where I was like, come on, let Frankie have this moment. They don't. They let the revolutionary guy and all these starving, dehydrated civilians stop the fucking fan that would normally murder regular people. But okay, this is my biggest egregious moment here with the fan. I feel like it was meant for... At least let Frankie start the stopping of the fan, but he's like, I can't do it by myself, guys. Brothers, help me. Then here comes these dehydrated, starving civilians and a revolutionary who might be strong. Then they help him with the other parts of the fan. Luffy goes down, breaks out the seawater, frees himself. But a twist within a twist within a twist in this movie, people. Gild Tesoro's been watching them this whole time. Team B, who were on their way to the vault, have to get past these like owl things and all this whatnot, who have Sanji there and the whole rest of the crew. They end up mugging a bunch of, I think they mugged, or they just put together outfits, or they stole the outfits. I think they mugged some celestial dragons that they saw in the VIP area. And they dressed up, Usopp dressed like the Celestial Dragon, Nami and Kurina dressed like Celestial Dragons, Nico Robin and Sanji dressed like their bodyguards. Chopper was the giant panda that Usopp was sitting on, kind of like how the slaves walk on their hands and feet with the Celestial Dragons on their back. It was pretty interesting. Eventually they make it to the vault. Like I said, Gild Tesoro has been watching them this whole time. It's all been part of the show. It's all been part of the show. They break through. Turns out Kurina fucked them over. She was part of this whole time. And she planned this whole thing. It was all a joke. It was all meant to make them go through all these hoops and whistles so it'd be a fun game for Gild Tesoro. He's actually done this before. Find the vault. There's no vault. My guess is all the real gold is in that little cell that Frankie and Luffy were in that was pretty much worthless because they got no food and water. It's pretty sad. But luckily for Zoro, right before the giant golden axes come to slice his fucking head off, the lights turn off, thanks to Kurina double crossing, and actually is with the Straw Hats, which kind of frustrated me, because Kurina isn't a canon character, which it doesn't really matter, but I would have been happier if she actually was a villain the whole time, because I wouldn't have saw it coming. When I first saw her do that, I was pretty hyped. I was like, yes! We're probably going to end up with a Kurina versus Nami fight that we never knew we wanted. Or maybe she's got like some crazy devil fruit. She screwed her over against Mad Treasure back in the day. We do find out she saved her in the end from Mad Treasure. But still, before that, we thought that the whole time Kurina screwed Nami. Turns out she did help her, but still, it would have been kind of cool if Kurina was part of Gild Tesoro's crew this whole time, has been fucking people over. She's like, why would I join you guys? I'm the left-hand woman to Gild Tesoro. I have all the money I could ever want. I don't have to go be a cat burglar anymore. Fuck you, Nami. That's what she should have been. She should have been the most evil. Like the one lady, we're like, fuck you, lady. Nami's going to kick your ass. Because Nami doesn't really get her own fight at the end, which is fine. She doesn't normally. But this would have been a good fight for her. Kurina versus Nami. No, she's actually with the Straw Hats, and they actually planned a plan beyond the original heist plan. They knew there was no vault. And whether there was a vault or not, they already had a plan within a plan to release the seawater, which eventually bursts through the same pipes that released the gold onto people that Gild Tesoro uses to control people. And Luffy, the funny part though, was Luffy didn't know about the plan within the plan. One, because Luffy wasn't paying attention, and two, they knew it wouldn't matter if they told him anyway. He would just messed it up. So they made Luffy think that he was actually doing the heists, and he was actually eliminating the snail security, which I thought was pretty funny because that makes so much sense. And I bet Luffy's like, meh. Luffy probably didn't even understand the plan he was doing, but luckily he had Frankie with him to kind of lead him along. Frankie had a lot of cool moments. He doesn't necessarily get a major fight, but he does get to be the support for Luffy during the majority of the middle of this movie. And if you're looking for action, this last third of this movie, this last quarter of this movie is full of action. One, we get to see a little tidbit of Sabo versus Rob Lucci, where Rob Lucci goes all leopard on him, and they do a crazy armament hockey punch, but that's really all we get to see, sadly. We get to see Gild Tesoro turn into a giant kaiju golden god who he really reminds me of Eneru in a lot of ways. We get some flashbacks around this time. I almost wish we kind of got his flashbacks at the beginning of the movie, just so we kind of understood him, but at the same time it makes you understand him right at the very end. It wasn't so egregious that I was like, oh, that was a little late. I mean, he's already defeated. No, you kind of get his flashbacks right before the fight and then during the fight. He had a girlfriend, right? His girlfriend was about to be auctioned off. She was kind of like Kami back at Sabaody. And once she got bought by a celestial dragon, she's gone. He decided he's going to bust his ass. He also grew up in a terribly poor island. His mom was a drunk. His dad gambled away all their money. They treated him like shit. He just wanted to be a star. He wanted to sing, which he gets to do here, kind of. She gets bought by a celestial dragon, and then he tries to stop the celestial dragons, and then he gets bought by a celestial dragon as well, because celestial dragons are a bunch of pieces of shiz. The crew, well, we find this out. Then the crew gets ready to fight after the water spreads across the entire casino, releasing all of the prisoners from their golden dust. They start revolutionarying, fighting back against Gild Tesoro's minions and security. At some point, Gild Tesoro backhands Luffy. Luffy falls down and gets captured by Spandam, out of all people, who wraps him in this sea prism, spiky rope. And he's like, I got you, Straw Hat. I'm going to pay you back for what you did back at Enies Lobby, you son of a bitch. But luckily for Luffy, the guys that helped him with the sea prism fan, they show up and they rescue him. They take him off. They get that sea prism off of him, and Luffy's ready for round 2, baby. But not only Luffy, Nami doesn't really get to do anything. Nico Robin, though, teams up with Sanji, two of my favorite characters. At this point in the story where I'm at, I have to say that Sanji and Nico Robin are probably my 2 and 3 favorite characters, Luffy being my number 1. Their team up here was actually really fun. They end up fighting a character who I don't think I mentioned during this entire review, who's actually sort of important. He's actually in One Piece Heart Gold for a hot minute. His name is Tanaka. He can phase through anything that's not alive. So he's jumping around. He's the crazy powered character that Sanji fights usually. Sanji ends up trying to kick him, hits the walls. He keeps phasing around, fucking with them. The Luck lady actually fights Chopper, Brook, and Usopp. So these 3 actually get to have a little bit of a bout. Chopper and Brook, not so much. They kind of get their ass beat. But the Luck lady, like I was explaining at the beginning of this movie, she puts her sword down and starts throwing coins. She's like, she steals all the luck from all of her minions, and they all start dying behind her, which is pretty brutal. But now she's just full of luck, and there's nothing they can do to hurt her because she's so lucky. She flips a coin, it knocks over a pillar. She flips a coin, it sends a bomb that someone else was holding at Brook and Chopper and whatnot. There's nothing they can do. Usopp, big brain Usopp, goes, I got a plan. Usopp, run away. And he runs away. And we're like, well, that's kind of in character, I guess. Usopp does that, but not as much anymore. What are you doing, Usopp? And I was like, when's he going to come back? And they actually make you wait a bit before Usopp comes back and saves the motherfucking day. So Usopp does come back right at the end. And he launches a big old boom out of his, he launches a fucking, in a bag, he launches a, what are they called? A jackpot thing, whatever they use at casinos. I can't, for the life of me, it's not coming out. I don't know what it is. But he launches it. She throws another coin. She's like, I'm going to finish you off. Here comes a coin. But because she's lucky, slot machine. He launches a slot machine. The coin goes into the slot machine, not only because Usopp's a great shot, but because she's so lucky, Usopp knew it would make it into the slot machine, which is super big brain. she's like, well, whatever, I'm lucky. You can't hit me anyway. You may have stopped that coin, but here comes another one. And Usopp launches some poison, and she's like, how did you hit me? I am the luckiest. And the bag opens up, and she actually threw the coin into the slot machine, and she got 777, used up all her luck. Oh, big brain Usopp wins the day. Zoro ends up fighting the dude that's into pain, and it's kind of funny because he's like hitting him with his swords and his one gorilla, two gorilla, and the dude eventually takes Zoro's swords, and he says a really cool line like, you know how you win? You bet with somebody else's chips. And he's trying to hit Zoro with his swords, and Zoro actually goes, this is actually going to be pretty fun for me. No sword style, and he hits like this crazy no sword style attack. I believe he learned it from our boy Hawkeye Mihawk. And then he gets his one sword that wasn't taken, the original white blade. He makes it full of armament hockey, and he comes in and he takes this dude out, and he's like, oh, I don't hear you orgasming anymore for pain. How was it? And the dude goes, ooh, but he's like a happy face, and he goes down. Zoro wins the day. Then our boys, Sanji and the best girl, Nico Robin, their team up works out because Nico Robin makes a giant hand which captures the Tanaka guy who can phase through anything that's not alive. But Nico Robin's hands are alive. And he can't get away. So here comes Sanji with the kicks and the hashish, Diable hashish thing. Beats the shit out of Tanaka. He's out of the game. Luffy tries Gear 2, Gear 3. Isn't enough. Luffy pulls out Gear 4. And before Rob Lucci can interfere, Sabo's keeping him busy. Luffy comes in with Gear 4, and it's too much. And it's really cool, because at one point, the golden statue grabs Nami, and he's like, I'm going to kill her. And he's like, let her go. And Gild Tesoro remembers that he said the same thing to the celestial dragon that tried to buy the girl he loved, who ended up dying in slavery, by the way. And he kind of sees his old self before he was manipulated by the celestial dragons that made him into this monster. Because he was a slave, and I'm assuming he was freed by Fisher Tiger, the same as Boa Hancock. They even show a flashback of when he got his devil fruit, I think. I think he bought his devil fruit from Doflamingo, which Doflamingo should have kept that, because he could have had a soldier who could, maybe he joined Doflamingo and then ate it, and then he's like, I'm going to get away and use this gold fruit. I'm not sure, but he got the fruit from Doflamingo. I Googled it, and that's how he got this OP fruit, which makes you rich as fuck. It's the best devil fruit ever, honestly. You wouldn't have to work a day in your life after that. But Gild Tesoro doesn't care about money, really. He just cares about power. He has a god complex now. He is, Eneru, and he comes with a fist. Luffy comes in with his Gear 4, and with help from the rest of his crew, they win the day. Launching Gild Tesoro onto the CP0 ship. Lucci decides to power down. He says, lock him up, throw away the key, we're out of here. Sabo and the revolutionaries, they bounce. Luffy and the crew, they win the day, and it's such a hype moment, and we're like, yeah, now we're on this ship full of gold. But then this 100-second countdown starts, and we're like, what is happening? And Karina explains that Gild Tesoro had this backup plan where the ship would explode if he ever left the ship or something, and she's like, you guys have to go, I will steer the ship away. And as soon as she said that, I knew Karina was double crossing them and stealing the ship of gold and all that gold underneath that Luffy and Frankie were trapped in. And I think Nami knew a little bit as well, because they were like, go. And it was like this moment where you felt like Karina was sacrificing herself and the golden ship was going to explode. But it was all a ruse. The ship was never going to explode. She gets away. The Straw Hats have to deal with the Navy who were there. Trying to also capture Gild Tesoro. Movie ends, credits. Fantastic movie, easily an 8 out of 10, said by me. Now, Before I end this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Did I miss anything? I'm sweating here from moving around and getting hyped. I hope you guys are enjoying these live videos. I sure am. Gild Tesoro was a really good movie villain. I'm not even sure, honestly, because I really love Strong World, and probably because I saw it in theaters. And I bet if I saw this in theaters, it might be up there as well, because it felt like a movie. It felt like an event. It didn't have a deep, I don't know, it didn't have a deep backstory villain like Shiki or Zed, but he did a great job. Him being basically created by the evil of the world, the celestial dragons that turned him into a slave. Like, there's a giant scar on his back, and it's because he wanted to cover his slave scar, just like the fishmen do. And you know, he hates the celestial dragons, but he pays them off. He became what he hated. And he saw his old self in Luffy. He was actually a good guy, but the world changed him. And it was really well done. Even the CGI, which is very sparingly used, but used to enhance certain moments when the kaiju fight was happening, was well done. I'm not a big fan of CGI in my anime, but they did it here properly. And the English dub is great in this movie. Fantastic. Not one bad thing to say. One Piece Film Gold, what do you think? What did you think? Please comment down below. Please share this video. And please subscribe to Morfanime. And remember, in the description below, click the link and buy yourself a Morfanimaniac t-shirt. I'll talk to you later.